This right here gonna be a cakewalk.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I want to revisit a subject that I talked about 2 days ago, and I want to elaborate on it a bit further. I don't know if I did a bad job of explaining it or if some people were just not understanding what I'm trying to say. So I want to try and go a little bit further and emphasize what these fighting games are focusing on. Before we even talk about Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8, if we talk about Guilty Gear Strive, Final Fighters 15 or whatever it's called, if we talk about Project L, right? If we just talk about all these other fighting games, they are all focusing on easy to use, simple mechanics. That's what they're all focusing on. And they're not doing this because of us. They're not doing this because of the hardcore players who've been playing for 20 years. They've been playing in arcade. No. We know how to do a electric wind godfist. We know how to do Hadoukens back to back to back to back. We know these things, but they're not making it easier for us. They're making it easier for the casual audience. I was playing my cousin the other day on Tekken 7. And you know, in Tekken 7, they have these simple inputs or whatever they call it. You can either turn it on or off when you first start the game. And if you really want to get good at the game, you turn it off. But if you leave it on, you can do one button inputs. Now, I never seen this in action. I never seen it for myself, but playing against my cousin, I was able to see exactly how these easy to use systems work in the game. I would do an attack that forces them to crouch. Now, all of you know, once you force someone to crouch or you make someone minus frames, then you apply the 50-50 mix-up. But what those easy inputs were doing, they were giving him the answers to the questions, to the mix-up. I'll force him to crouch or I'll stun him, and then the input will pop up on the bottom right screen and tell him to do an orbital, tell him to do something that will beat it. And it was kind of fascinating watching it. Every single time I did something, it would give you the answer and it would work. It was working. And now I had to start trying to change my thinking. I had to adapt to the easy to use mechanic, because every mix up that I was applying, everything that I was doing, they were just giving the answer right there for everyone to see. And I think about that in terms of Tekken 8, because like I said, they're not putting that in there for me. They're putting that in there so people who just start the game can compete with me. They can keep up with someone who's been playing Tekken for a decade, right? Of course, when I picked Yoshimitsu, it was no contest. But when I was picking these other characters that I don't normally play, it was a little bit closer. And I think about it, talking about this video that I did 2 days ago, the title of it, Tekken 8 possibly releasing in 2024. Harada wants to avoid crushing Street Fighter 6. That's the title. The title is based on two things. One, the whole community believes that Tekken 8 will release in 2024. One key factor that I missed out in that video is 2024 is the 30th anniversary of Tekken. Also, just to quickly summarize some of the points, Street Fighter 6 would possibly release 2023. Harada says he doesn't want to compete because the two games would crush each other. Now, the reason why he said this, well, let's read this comment. It says, avoid crushing Street Fighter 6. Man, shut up. Each game's player base doesn't care about the others, which is true. As a fan of both since childhood, I always juggled playing both through and through. And this comment is not lying. But what this comment is kind of misunderstanding or not thinking about is the casual audience. Yes, I'm going to buy both Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6, and a lot of you also will. But how many casuals are? That's what Harada doesn't want to compete with. As I was talking about it, I literally showed a screenshot of someone. It was just a post online, but they were saying, should I buy Tekken 7 or should I buy Street Fighter 5? Which one's better? They were trying to get the internet's input, and that's exactly what he doesn't want. He wants the casuals to be able to go and buy Street Fighter 6 and then next year go and buy Tekken 7. We will buy these things. We will purchase both the DLC, everything. They're not trying to market the game to look at Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6, they made two totally different types of controls. They have the modern and they have the classic. That is for two different demographics. They're also going with this more hip hop vibe. They're putting some free roam elements. They're really trying to make the game more than just a fighting game. And they're not doing that for the hardcore players. They could have easily just did a normal arcade story mode and made Street Fighter 6 look like all the past Street Fighters, and everyone would have bought it. All the hardcore players would have bought it. The whole Street Fighter fan base, they would have ate it up. But they took that extra step, and that's because they're trying to get casuals. I know I keep saying it, but I don't know how else to explain it. It's not about us. That's the thing. It's not about us. They're trying to get little Andy to stop playing Fortnite and to play Tekken 8. That's what they're doing. We always talk about Harada, Tekken. They have to adapt to the modern age. Now we see how Street Fighter 6 is trying to do that. We see the steps that they're taking to make their game compete with the Battle Royale genre, other fighting games. We don't know yet what Tekken 8 is going to do, but there's already the framework, the structure in Tekken 7. Like I said, the easy inputs, the sample combos. They have easy combos in Tekken 7. If you look at things that's happening outside of the game, Harada was talking about having AI correct your misinputs. A few months ago, there was a patent submitted by Bandai Namco, and it has to do with practice features. It has to do with training people, recommending characters. You're picking this character and you're losing over and over and over. The game will say, you know what? You like pressing that square button? We're going to give you a character who does wonderful things with that square button. Try Katarina. Try this character. That's what they're not. That's what we have to realize. It's not about us. I don't know. I just want to talk about this in a video because I get this comment, the whole shut up and, saying I'm wrong and all that. But I think it's important to see both sides because I'm not saying that I'm right. I know I miss things, and I know the comments miss things. I know the developer missed things, but it's important that we circle back and we fully understand why some of these decisions are being made. I think once we understand why they're making some of these decisions, it's easier to predict what they're going to do next, what's coming next for the game, right? So I just want to talk about this because I think the casual versus hardcore is going to be a very, very big topic going into the next game. How these fighting games adapt to the new. Like I said this already, but I'll quickly say it again. When Tekken 7 came out, when Street Fighter 5 came out, Twitch was a fraction of the size it is today. YouTube has grown so much. Video games has grown so much. Everything, Battle Royale genre didn't exist. Season passes didn't really exist like that. DLC, all of these things were not around in development of Tekken 7 and Street Fighter 5. So now we get to see for the first time what these fighting games can do in a modern era. And they know the competition is high. They know what they have to do in order to compete. And one of the main things that they're going after is that casual audience. But that's going to be it for this video. I don't want to sound repetitive or repeat the same things over and over and over again, but I think it's very important to realize why and who it's for. Because like I said, we're already going to buy it. They are not pushing this hard for us. Yes, they want to please us, but we're already sold. Now they're trying to figure out how to get more people. Tekken sold 9 million copies. They're trying to make sure Tekken 8 does the same thing, if not more, right? So that's going to be it for this video. I just saw this comment and I just wanted to talk about it because the comment's right. It's definitely right, but at the same time it's wrong. And I feel like that's how I be too. I be right, but I also be wrong. And I do want to just make videos about the same topic if necessary to try and elaborate on it a little bit further. So that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.